Good afternoon, everyone. First of
Hello.
all, I'd like to open up with happy anniversary to my wife. She has
Ah,
put up with me for 21 straight years.
wow. Mhm. Your
So
marriage is
our
old enough to go drinking now. So,
it is. It is. And boy, is it gonna get plowed. So anyways, today we're talking about project planning, which is irony, ironical,
Yep.
because right now we're doing a massive, as the middle schoolers would put it these days,
Yeah.
um, update to project synchronization. For years, you've only been able to synchronize like bits and pieces because the PSAs are kind of complicated to synchronize with. And so we laid it on to our devs that we want to do 100% webhooks into the environment, and
Yep.
they're delivering. And we're almost ready to push it to prod. We
Yep.
found some issues that are annoying us that are getting cleaned up. And yeah, so it's got us really thinking deep about what does it mean to do project management? Where do you go with project management? Why would 100% sync manage? Why wouldn't I just do it all in my PSA? And so all these interesting questions are getting asked right now. And then we happen to be talking about project maps with tactical versus strategic, using your roadmaps to kind of manage your battlefield with your clients, like where are we going, what's going on, how are we doing, and then how to get out of the way of the engineers. So the account managers need to like create projects and then let the engineers do it. So,
Mhm.
and what does it mean to have an opportunity versus a project, and when do you back off and let the engineers do their job?
Mm.
So Skip.
Well, on this, I mean, I don't know. I've got several of our coaching clients are in kind of this phase right now, and they were going through some stuff. So I feel like I'm developing a little bit of a tunnel vision, but I try to recognize that when it happens, and sometimes I really lean into it. So right now, for me, we're working on a lot of things, and it all ends up on the project roadmap, right? Um, and I've had to make sure I explain myself several times. Our projects that are on the roadmap are more than just open a box, rack, and configure something. All right, that is a
Yeah.
very simple project. Ours can be used with as a container to do any number of things with your clients. And so, if we're building to that, we're not just going to show up one day and put this project on the roadmap. It doesn't just magically appear. We're not going to have much luck with it if we try that route anyway. Right. So there's got to be a lot that goes into that, or it can be a lot, but it can also be very natural and building into those project roadmaps. So I think this is a powerful element that we're going to be able to release with the update, so that we get more real-time information in there, where we're sending information over to our team that is a result of our internal client conversations. But at the same time, we can flip that around, and as updates come from our team, those can make their way so that they're visible to the client all automatically. So there's a lot going on in the project stuff here. I'm really kind of hyper focused on some of it, but I'm really excited about what we got going on.
Yeah, and it's all building, right? So project roadmaps syncing 100% lead to better communication with clients. And because we have better communication with clients and better real-time data, we can now send email digests to clients,
Mm-hmm.
which are coming out July 1st or the first week of July. And if we can get real-time digests to clients, what are they just going to see in a Monday email? Well, they're going to want to see any assets that need to be replaced, just in case PCs are getting old, equipment's getting old, overdue tickets so they can whine and complain to you. Projects that are coming up. Hey, we're going to kick off the new blah 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 project, and then also like Microsoft licensing. How many licenses do I have? Am I running out? Do I need to order more? Just a quick little blurb. Like these are all things that your client gets to see on a Monday morning over a cup of coffee. They don't need to log into a portal. They don't need to remember a process. They just click and they're there.
Yep.
We wanted something attractive for the clients to see all the hard work that MSPs are doing project wise, because most of the time you guys are working silently in the background. If
Mm-hmm.
everything's going well, IT is doing its job. So what we want to do is get a pretty digest that shows your clients what does it actually look like. And so I actually kind of pulled up here at Skip. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
No. Which one?
Well, I sent a screenshot in Discord today. I'm like, what is up with this
Yes,
view?
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't know if you know why it looked that way.
So
everyone, this is what like our project status screen looks like, right? I've got a nice little dashboard here. We're talking about QBRs with this client. Here's a project roadmap stuff. So I pulled up the test environment today, and it looked like this. And I'm like, teal, what the heck? Where are we going with this? And then like the colors changed, and the home screen looked different. And I look at this stuff all the time, people. I get confused. That's a test environment, so I got about 50% chance the thing will break when I click. But I sent a screenshot to the team, like, why does it look this way? It's because it's now 100% synced, and we can see the colors coming from that environment. We can see items coming from there, and they're just different because now we're seeing a live view of what's going on. And this update just got pushed a couple hours ago into the dev environment. For anybody there who's working with that, that's why it's going so slow right now. Skip has been pulling his hair out over this, or trying to pull his hair out, buffing your head maybe. Over like how to test out project mapping when your environment is this slow on dev. And it's because there's so much going on here right now. Is that we can see here, look, we got all these new colors, and like, this is different, this is weird, but we're now seeing everything for this client. We're now seeing what is going on in real time. And this is a big deal. Most of your clients don't care about real time, but when you do a screenshot or when you do a snapshot of an environment and you send it to your client, they will now say, oh my gosh, why do I have 5 PCs a day? One of them, Cheryl's. And Cheryl is one of our top employees. I want to make sure that this gets taken care of. Or, oh, there's a project waiting for my input. I should call Skip and say, what do you need done here? It looks like you're waiting for me to give my approval on moving forward with this cabling thing that's going to help us get more students in this classroom. So go ahead and do it. I'm okay. Well, spend the $1,500, whatever it is. But now your client is being reminded every Monday. There's no more phone tag. There's no more, hey, can we get together and do this? Then when you do get together, you're going to have 4 or 5 weeks of data that you can go back and look at and say, let's talk about this last quarter. Now let's talk about the next quarter and make sure you're getting the information you need. Do you need me to modify the view so you're getting more information on assets or less information on assets? Do you want to see certain tickets? Maybe you only want to see tickets from Karen because she's so squeaky and she's costing you a lot of money. We can give you that every Monday, every Tuesday. You just let us know what's going to help you. And now your engagement becomes more dynamic and you never have to really think it through. And this is the whole project building, right? When you get into a routine with your projects and thinking strategically and forward thinking, you're building something. So in order for us to get to an email digest, we had to do a whole bunch of things beforehand so that we can deliver this thing that we know all you MSPs really want. And you have to do the same thing with your clients when it comes to project planning. How is this project going to get your client to where they need to be?
And getting to this point, we're doing a lot of hopefully helping, get the automation and just the real-time information in there so that we're allowing you to do the more valuable elements. All right. So, one of the key things that we're always driving on with the projects is why? Why does your client need to do this? What's the value to them specifically? And getting that mapped out is actually a pretty fun sort of exercise to go through, right? And we've got a lot of tools for that. The SWOT is always a really great one, but we've got other ones out there, and we get those mapped, and we get names, and a little bit of details on those projects on the roadmap. And now, in not only getting this email digest every Monday or whatever time you want it to show up with your clients, they're getting, in essence, a business update. All right. And so as they look at that, they're going to be seeing key components of their business if you're doing it right. And it's going to empower them to make and invest more in their business. So, it's not just going to be, I've got to review this digest that comes every month, and make sure I'm doing all the IT techie stuff I'm supposed to. No, that they get to, in some aspects, look forward to, like, I want to see where they are on this project because my business needs this. We're excited about this. We're going to launch, and so there is a motivation from their side to engage with this data, not just be bombarded with more information. All right. We really are trying to stick to our principles, and the key elements on this is what is going to be valuable to your clients so that they want to engage with you more and see you as a partner.
Yeah. And a lot of that comes down to presentation. You guys have good data. You have good information. You guys are awful at presenting. I'm telling you, like, you go to conferences and this is the best we have, right? These are the best people presenting and they're terrible.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's just be honest here. And we are terrible presenters because we're engineers. We're good at fixing things. We want to show you all the data so you can make an informed decision. So we're going to spew and vomit data at you. And then the client's supposed to digest this.
Yeah.
And that's not how the world works. There's a reason why car salespeople only show you the shiny car and the happy mom getting out of the SUV.
Mm-hmm.
They don't show you how efficient the pistons are. They don't show you what kind of transmission it has in there. They show the happy mom getting out of the car. You need to be better at presenting like your projects like that. If we do this thing, your teachers will be happier.
Mm-hmm.
If we do this thing, you will now be able to help more students. If we do this thing, you'll sell more hot dogs at the next event. So you got to show the outcome-based projects rather than just spewing data.
Right.
And so when you make the visualizations so that they understand, like, oh, so you're saying for $10,000, I will never have to worry about connectivity at any stadium ever again. Mm-hmm. I am telling you that right now. Yeah. You will never have a problem with network congestion if you spend $10,000 right now. Signed. I'm done.
Yeah.
Or you can spend the next 6 hours compiling and collating data on why this firewall is the fastest one on the planet. Explaining to them 5G, explaining to them satellite connectivity, explaining to them Starlink. And they're gonna be like overwhelmed, and they're gonna wonder why it takes 3 months to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you understood their business and you put that project title, which Skip talks about all the time, change your project title to something that matters to them. It's not a firewall upgrade. It's a sell more hot dogs remotely.
Yeah.
It is a make teachers happier, cause less problems in classrooms, like guarantee uptime.
That's it.
Like these things are what's going to help your projects move forward. And this is the difference between thinking operationally and strategically.
Mm-hmm.
An operational one says, hey, here's how I change the light bulb. I'm changing the light bulb because the last one burnt out, and we got to do this once every 3 years. A strategy says, hey, let's move to LED bulbs that have a 10-year lifespan. We're going to do this so every time a light bulb goes out, we're going to screw in a new LED. It's going to cost us 10 times more, but we're going to reduce the amount of OpEx we have, and we're going to make people happier, and we're going to reduce our electric bill. Yeah. And that's thinking strategically to an outcome you want.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking to your clients, you got to think about what's the outcome of this process? What's the outcome of this project? And then give them updates. Let them see that you are working on this. And that's why in our new feature set, we're making this 100% so that when your engineers are working operationally, your clients are seeing the strategy on their side.
Mm-hmm.
As this project updates, as the engineer moves it from work in progress to completed, they'll see that the title of this project that says, make internet faster, stop issues with testing in classrooms. Mm-hmm. When I see that completed, I'm drinking my cup of coffee on Monday. I see that it's completed. Like, oh my gosh. Ask teachers, hey, have you guys had any problems with the classrooms lately? Like, oh no, it's been so much better today. Yep. You just became a hero. Yep. Or, hey, Bob, I see that you're at the AC/DC concert. How are sales going? Like, oh, it's going great. Everybody else is broken down, but our kiosk is still selling, and we're able to process credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
I am almost out of hot dogs. I just had Alice run out to the vendor and grab 600 more so we can keep selling.
Yeah.
Like, you get this feedback because now they see completed project, always be online, or flawless sales, or whatever the project title was, gets completed and it's in their email, and they get to see flawless sales, upgraded internet, make it so classrooms never go down, whatever it is, so that your client knows that you're moving their company forward.
Right. And that's the real value. So that's the question that comes up, at some point with all of your customers, right? They look at you and they go, why am I paying you again? Can you remind me?
Yep.
And they're always questioning because it's something they don't understand. Right. And we've got to quit teaching our clients about technology.
Yep.
And this has been a topic of conversation this week, and I was really, really good at that, but I realized that was the wrong thing. And so here's the really, really hard imperative. Quit making your clients make technology decisions. All right. Stop it altogether. Just stop it and allow them to make business decisions. Right? When you're asking them to make technology decisions, that's why you can't get projects closed in less than 6 months. All right. Or, you're just pushing because you're forcing them to do something that they don't really understand. I mean, they're not comfortable doing all that. And you may say, well, they trust me. Okay. But that's a feeling. All right. And we can leverage that. But why not start with just simple understanding, right? And then we can layer on some of those other elements, and things can go, just off the walls. But let's start with something really simple.
Yep.
This project is going to help your business in this way. Allow your clients to make business decisions.
That's what I refer to as this particular. I'm looking at week 4 in project maps on our events calendar over here. It says, review with community on tactical versus strategic project mapping. Using project roadmaps to manage the battlefield, how to get out of the way of the engineers, right? That's what you're doing. You're managing the battlefield. Listen to what Skip is saying. Rewind this and go back to what Skip just said. You're managing expectations so that your clients understand the outcomes. And when the outcomes become understandable, your client now sees the needle moving.
Mm-hmm.
Upgrading that firewall, they won't associate that with faster internet. That's not how their brains are going to work. They don't see how creating that wireless mesh and upgrading all the wireless access points changes things for them. They don't see the fact that they're not dropping anymore. They don't see the fact that the internet's faster or that they're more secure. They don't feel that. It's not an emotional decision. But when you say, we're going to make it so you can live stream to every classroom simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
When you can say that as of June 20th, you can live stream to every classroom simultaneously, meaning you can download content. Every teacher can be working at the same time, and no one has to say, hey, look, I'm going to be doing live streaming today. Can you please knock it off and let me have everything? So what we need to do is set expectations that your client can feel. That is the one tip I'm going to get you to managing the battlefield. And then don't make it the responsibility of your engineers to explain that to your clients.
Right.
Your project should be set up in such a way that when these things get done, here is when your client will feel the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Here's when they'll notice it. And that way you're out of the way of the engineers. The client isn't bothering the engineers all the time. The client is talking to the account manager if and when necessary. When the account manager says, and they check that box and the client sees in their email, you now can live stream to every classroom simultaneously. Don't even worry about it. You've got more than enough. How did we do this? Oh, the engineers did a whole bunch of work on a bunch of things, and now you can do this.
Right.
Done. Right? That is where you start succeeding on your project roadmap. That is where your client, you may be working as hard as you can, but if you're working hard tactically, your client won't understand why that you're necessary. They're just going to
Mhm.
see you as a low bid item. They're going to see anybody can do that job.
Yep.
What only some people can do is show the value that your client is receiving, not in like operational expenditures, but in our business can now do this because of you.
Mhm.
And then that list keeps growing in that digest you send every Monday. We did this and this and this and this. And they can see the history of all the projects and all the things that they used to not be able to do. So now I can live stream to every classroom. Now I can have Chromebooks across the entire campus. Now you don't even have to be on our campus to use the Chromebooks. They can be anywhere in the city. And like you see these things, and then when they review that Monday email, they're going to see all the projects you completed onto the completed projects widget, and they're gonna be like, "Man, these guys work really hard for us."
Yeah.
Showing
That
value, but
helped
those
us
project,
do a lot of things.
yep,
You know,
the project
they've helped
titles
us
have to
accomplish.
be the project titles have to be like what Skip said.
Yep.
They have to be something relatable, not just spewing data.
That's it.
All right, Skip, thanks for coming on. Thanks for letting me interrupt you about a billion times as per our
You did
usual.
both ways.
Yeah, and so I am excited for this feature to come out. This is a lot of work, everyone. There's a reason why most vendors don't do what we're trying to do here. It's really hard. It requires a lot of effort. Again, Skip has been pulling or waxing his head or whatever it is he does when he's stressed. I'm pretty sure Skip had a brown beard before this started.
Yeah.
He's been
Been
doing
fun.
a bulk of the testing. So when this works, you have Skip to thank for taking out all of the hard obstacles
Oh, no.
and inventing new swear words. I'm hoping for us to hit the first version of prod here next week. So I know all of you like watch this afterwards, but next week, fingers crossed, we'll have the first version out to prod, and it's looking pretty sexy.
Yep.
All right, we'll talk to everyone later, and next week hopefully we'll be talking about how we went live.
There we go.
All right, later.